evening, guys. What is going on? How y'all doing on this Friday night? This is the Club of the Man 1993. Energized after 9 hours of work. A good day of work today, though, guys. But I am here live before SmackDown tonight to give my live review of this week's episode of NXT. The November 18th, 2020 edition of NXT took place once again at the Capitol Wrestling Center in Florida. It was announced on the show officially that on December, not this Sunday, not the following, the 6th, I believe it is, December the 6th, NXT TakeOver War Games is returning. So we're already, of course, probably have the one War Games match official based off of what happened in at the end of the show after the amazing main event, match of the year candidate, I will say, for the women for sure, as that match definitely lived up to the hype. But what happened after the match, of course, with an 8-man brawl leading to most likely the War Games match for the men, and probably the main event of NXT TakeOver War Games 4, look good. I am kind of getting a little sick of NXT literally announced their takeovers just, 2 or 3 weeks before it happens? Like, why can't they announce it sooner, get the ball moving sooner, make the show feel like they're actually building toward the pay-per-view and not just okay, when is this happening, and just be whatever. But other than that, I thought this was still a pretty good show. Yeah, there was some stuff that just was what it was, but I liked it better than last week's show. Last week's show, I don't know. Last week's show, I just wasn't feeling it. This week's show, I was feeling it. Thought it was good. It was fun. I thought it was a fun edition of NXT this week. For the most part, of course. So let's get rolling here because SmackDown comes on in 10 minutes. I want to try to review that tonight because I have a tight weekend. And I don't know. It depends on how I feel after my SmackDown review tonight. Maybe I will do my Survivor Series predictions. Don't have much to say about the show. We'll see. But we started off the show with a rematch for the NXT North American Championship. The recap of how Leon Ruff beat Johnny Gargano. And, of course, Gargano is saying it was all fluke, all this and that, blah, blah, blah. It's like the joke is over. They have the match, and not a bad performance by Leon Ruff. Again, my thing is, I like how this is building a new star in Leon Ruff. Having an ultimate underdog that nobody believes would win. I like that concept. Again, the problem I just have is Johnny Gargano is not the right man to be in this position. Being the heel who looks like, who's putting over the guy that's supposed to be viewed as a joke. Again, it's just not working with Johnny Gargano. But, of course, the match happens, and Leon Ruff is talented, I'll give him that. But still, like I said, it's just the position that they have Johnny Gargano in, I just hate it. I hate it! But then the match ends because Damian Priest came out. She shows up on the stage to distract Johnny Gargano. But then, Priest pulls out Ruff, and he says, "I'm sorry," and he hits a forearm on Leon Ruff to call for disqualification. So that basically Ruff will be disqualified and Johnny will technically have no excuse for another rematch, as he's probably saying. So Gargano fumes, and of course we got beat down for them again later on in the show. But then obviously later in the show there was a miscommunication. I'll get to that when it happens. So that's how we open up the show. Cameron Grimes is walking around backstage. He's talking how he's proven he's not afraid of Dexter Lumis after covering his eyes. Tonight, though, they're going to have a blindfold match. And when he's going to go to the moon. And they have this match. At some point during the match, it looks like the blindfolds, fell off or something like that. And then I also, it was just it got kind of weird there. But basically, the match ends. Basically, it ends whenever Grimes just escapes because I don't know. He got scared and yeah, I don't know. It was weird. It was a strange one, I guess. Didn't quite see the point behind it, but whatever. Probably the lowest point in the show to me, in my opinion. But then we have backstage. We have Regal confronting Damian Priest. who claims that he got carried away, but Regal has to be sick of Johnny too. Leon Ruff interrupts them, and he's mad that Damian Priest treated him like a joke, and if he's going to be champ, he has to defend the belt on his own. Priest is like, I'm sorry, but Ruff said, he's sorry, kid. He then slaps Damian Priest in the mouth, and he walks away. Regal tells Priest, you had it coming, man. And then we get a video of Shotzi Blackheart talking about Candice LeRae. Basically, this is announced whenever War Games is happening. And it sounds like LeRae and Blackheart will pick the teams for the... Wait, the main event? The women's match is going to main event War Games? I somehow missed that. I missed that somehow. So yeah, apparently that's the case there. Yeah, we're going to have Candice LeRae and Shotzi Blackheart be, the team captains for the women's War Games match, because Candice LeRae ran over Shotzi Blackheart's tank. So, okay. We had a tag match. It was Candice LeRae and her now buddy, what I'm going to call her, Indy Hartwell, taking on the team of KC Catanzaro and Caden Carter. In a fun match. It was decent. Candice and Indy win. And it's pretty obvious we're probably going to be getting Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell on one team. And probably the rest of the team was revealed later on. Well, I'd say 7 of the 8 members of the War Games match of the women were revealed on the show. Let me see here. We get a hype video also for Arturo Ruas, who was supposed to be part of Raw Underground, and he was drafted to Raw in the draft. But unfortunately, since Raw Underground got canceled, he's back in NXT. He had a match with Kushida. It was a decent match. Arturo Ruas is actually kind of decent, but of course this was put over Kushida again, who's kind of been on a roll lately. Kushida gets the victory with the Kimura lock. Gets the victory there. Ember Moon and Toni Storm in their interview backstage. Ember says that Dakota Kai is one of the best in the world, but she keeps relying on Raquel Gonzalez. It's time for the two of them to get theirs, and she's really happy she's teaming with her girl, Toni Storm, tonight. Storm agrees that they need to teach Dakota and Raquel a lesson, but when it comes to the NXT Women's title, Moon steps right there and just says, let's get through tonight. Still teasing, in my opinion, a triple threat match at some point between Io, Ember, and Toni. And again, one of those two are turning heel. I mean, I thought it was going to be Toni, obviously, but I kind of backed off because, again, if the pandemic happened, Toni Storm was going heel. Toni Storm was going heel, no doubt about it. Even in that match at Worlds Collide earlier this year, Rumble weekend, they were definitely already teasing Toni Storm going heel. But now Ember Moon's back, and they're not making it very obvious here. So I like that. I wonder who's going to be. But whoever turns heel, one of those two is going to be the one I think going to be dethroning Io Shirai. Well, kind of get away the main event there. Well, the main event match, but what can I say? So, we have a tag match with Ember Moon and Toni Storm taking on Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. I thought it was a pretty fun match. Women put up a pretty good show. The babyfaces win the match, but after the match and Moon and Storm are celebrating, here comes Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. They pick the bones of them and they throw them back in for Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. So looks like they're gonna have the Candice's team is most likely probably gonna be Candice, Indy Hartwell, who I'm intrigued by. Not the biggest fan still yet, but she's had her moments where she's kind of caught my eye a little bit. Intriguing. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. Good team there. And then Shotzi's probably going to get Candice. I mean, sorry, not Candice. Oh, no, not Candice. She's probably going to get Ember and Toni. Who's going to be the fourth member? Don't know yet. Probably going to be a surprise. Not going to be Tegan, because Tegan's still out injured. I don't know. Where should be it? I don't know if it's going to be Rhea or Io. I think it might be a little too obvious there. But we'll see. Could be a nice surprise for who the last member is. Then Pat McAfee and his crew pull up in their SUV. Pat saying he hears the champ is here to speak tonight, as Finn Balor was advertised for this show. And they want a front row seat, so they're making their way to the ring to wait for the arrival of Finn Balor. Timothy Thatcher has a match against Austin Gray and beats him with a submission, and afterwards, when he does more punishment, out comes Tommaso Ciampa. But Thatcher's backs off as I don't have a problem with you. Okay, we're getting a match with Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. Cool. My question still remains: Is Tommaso Ciampa a freaking heel or is he a face again? Now they're booking like a baby face again. But I want him to stay heel. There's so many, especially in NXT, there's so many superstars that I don't know what the heck they are. Tommaso Ciampa's one of them. Finn Balor's one of them. I don't know. Who's what? Who is what? Dynamics are weird, but yeah, we're going to get a match probably between Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. Cool. Should be intriguing. And then Damian Priest supposed to have a match till Johnny Gargano attacks him, and then Leon Ruff comes out, and he takes out both men. After dodging a boot that sends Priest to the floor with Gargano, Ruff stood tall, until he realizes he's outnumbered, and the two former champions go to attack, but Leon evades and heads out. And then he basically says he isn't a joke, and he's going to prove he's going to face both of them. So I'm guessing a triple threat match at TakeOver War Games. Okay, whatever. We also have Regal checking on Boa, who is not coming out, and all he kept saying was she's coming. Who's she? Don't know. Strange. And also Wade Barrett announces that next week he's not going to be there, but instead taking his place on commentary next week is going to be Kevin Owens himself. Sounds cool to me. And then we had the main event match, which was Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley. Jeez, oh man, this match lived up to its hype. Awesome, awesome match. These two came out, I thought, swinging their best shots. There was some hard hitting, some high flying, just a bunch of, emotions going back and forth with it. Pretty awesome. There was a point in the match where I believe, it looks like I think that Io had pulled off a maneuver. I can't remember what it was. But at some point, Rhea had some of her piercings, I guess, ripped out of her ear during the match, which caused some blood. So that was a nice touch, but it was physical, hard hitting back and forth. The two styles, a lot of great near falls. Of course, one of my favorite spots in the match. Well, a couple of them. First off, Rhea dodged the 619 twice. Io went for it, she ducked under and missed it. She goes for it again, she ducks under and missed it. And there was also a spot where, they did like a spear through the ropes, which was awesome. And then I remember it was towards the end, which was the big turning point that led to the finish. Io did a sunset flip through the ropes underneath Rhea and slammed her through a table. Yet we have Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre who just slammed each other on top of the announce table on Raw this past week, and the table did not break. I'm not sure what's up with tables not breaking on Raw and SmackDown, but tables are still breaking in NXT. And that powerbomb basically led to the end as Io was able to hit a moonsault on Rhea Ripley, and she retained. Sign of respect afterwards. Awesome stuff. Great main event. Definitely one of my favorite women's matches this year. It probably would have even been even better, a lot more remembered though, if a real crowd was in front of it. That was a match meant for a real crowd. That could have main evented a TakeOver. I mean, we already had, a Charlotte, Rhea, and Io main event TakeOver, well, because Charlotte Flair's on the show, of course. But that could have main evented a TakeOver. That was an awesome match. Definitely TakeOver worthy. But afterwards, of course, it hyped up that Finn Balor was going to be coming back to address the NXT universe after this is the first time we've seen him since his broken jaw injury. So Finn comes out and congratulates Io. But he says he got some business to talk. Last time we saw him, he defended the title with his jaw broken in 2 places. Now he stands here with 3 plates in his face to prove he's a badass. And before he's continuing to address the situation, out comes Pat McAfee and his crew, saying he knows that Finn claims the injury. Finn doesn't watch the business watches him, but he has to have seen what they've been doing while he was home drinking steaks through a straw. He runs down everyone that they've taken out, and he tells Finn that if he has the respect for the business, he's going to turn that belt over to them, and he'll end up just like the others. And then Finn basically says it's easy for you guys for mice to play when the cat's away, but the cat is back, and it looked like he drug back with him. And apparently he brought back the Undisputed Era, which again, another person, again, is Finn a heel or is he a face? I'm starting to think he's a face. I'm this close to an Eternaler for Finn Balor and Tommaso Ciampa. I don't want to pull the trigger on it yet. But as long as they're just a bunch of badasses. But anyways, Undisputed Era returned for the first time since Pat McAfee and his crew had taken each one of them out. And they had this big, vicious brawl. Adam Cole had this sick-looking kick, and he just literally knocked the head of Pat McAfee off his head. It was a sick-looking kick there, but they brawled to show off the air. So obviously the men's match is going to be the Undisputed Era versus the Kings of NXT, Pat McAfee's crew of him, Oney Lorcan, Danny Burch, and Pete Dunne. Fine. That's fine. I mean, again, they're still not the most exciting group to me. They have the talent, the excuses to back up their statement. Are they the most exciting stable? Nah, but it works. It works for me. And that's how we went off the air. That was my review of NXT. So to check the You're Right, Tyler face and heels or nothing more. So let me check the polls, and then I'm going downstairs to watch SmackDown. So what grade of NXT? 75% said A. 16.7% said B. Nobody said C, and 8.3% said D or lower. I gave the show a B. Again, great main event match between Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley. Intriguing stuff to set up, almost a Survivor Series, Takeover War Games. You know, we're probably going to be getting. It looks like we're probably going to be getting the Women's War Games match. And I'm still trying to decide who's going to be the surprise. Probably the fourth member for Shotzi Blackheart's team, but we're definitely getting her, Ember, Toni, and then I missed one other person. And then for the women, for the heels, it's probably going to be Candice, Indy, Dakota, and Rhea. And for the men's, Undisputed Era versus the Kings of NXT. And then probably the triple threat match for North American title. And I guess Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa. I don't think Finn's defending yet, but it's coming. Yeah, so that's it. That's my review of NXT, guys. Gave it a B. What are your thoughts? I'll be back here in a little bit for my SmackDown review. Leave thoughts down in the comment section below. And make sure, as always, to slap a like on the video and subscribe or comment to my channel. Follow me on Twitter at DemandAirBody3. I'm checking out. I'll see you guys later. Have a great night. Peace out, everybody.